Well, we have some transfer updates and we have some injury updates ahead of the game against Real Madrid too. So let's go into all of them. And yes, you are seeing the name on the thumbnail and of course on the and in the title. Kingsley Coman has been linked to the move to Arsenal. Now, before I go into this, and I will tell you where it's coming from, because it's coming from Sky Germany, let me just say from the off that I am very, very sceptical about this report, this link, this rumour. I don't think we'll sign him, and I also don't think there's much in the way of Arsenal actually trying to sign him, if I'm honest. I'm really not convinced about this, but I will tell you where it's from. Like I said, we'll talk about injuries too. So Florian Plettenberg, we have talked about before, he's the one who's been covering a lot of this Sane stuff, whether he was going to get a new deal at Bayern Munich, with Arsenal trying to sign him too on a free transfer in the summer. That's a video we've actually done here on the Goonerverse too. As far as I'm aware, everything we talked about in that video is still accurate and relevant to today. So go watch that if you want to know about the other Bayern Munich winger we're supposedly looking at. But Florian Plettenberg is a Sky reporter for Sky Germany. We know that they're obviously well sourced out there when you're talking about German football clubs, but also the fact that it's Sky Sports. They typically position themselves quite well in this transfer scene. But here's what he had to say. There is contact between Arsenal and Kingsley Coman's management, with both sides in ongoing communication. So I'm very bunged up, by the way. You can hear it in the way I'm talking. Arsenal are aware that Saudi Arabia is a very appealing option for Coman, but they have expressed their interest. Coman and Bayern are expected to part ways in the summer. The situation is positive, with open dialogue between all parties. Coman will be replaced. Now, I've got a few issues with this. The first issue I've got with this is firmly Coman's injury record. Let me just bring it up here in front of me right now. Apologies. Give me 1 second. Yeah, block all these ads. This is really annoying. Here we go. So, this season alone, Kingsley Coman has missed 1, 2, 3, 4. So, on 4 separate injuries, he's had fitness problems, a knock. He's been rested for 3 days, missing a game. And he also had a torn muscle fibre that kept him out for almost all of December. The season before that, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 injuries as well, seeing him miss 9 games at a time, then another 8 games at a time. All this happening in the last 2 seasons alone. Before that, 22-23, he had 2 separate injuries, but one of them did keep him out for 29 days, which was a whole month. And he had plenty of injuries the season before that alone. If you're asking me, James, what is your opinion on Kingsley Coman, the footballer? I think he's terrific. Kingsley Coman, the footballer at his best, that we've been seeing for a long time now, is an electric player. Can play off the left, can play off the right, got lightning speed, really, really good in the one-on-ones, really good at digging out a cross, can go on the inside too. Big fan of Kingsley Coman, the player. Like, I think he's very, very, very good. But Kingsley Coman today, in this version of him, with all these injuries, I don't really know why Arsenal would go down this route. Now, again, we've talked before about the fact that a Gyökeres, an Isak, a Sesko, they're going to cost a lot of money. And maybe if you're trying to do the job in midfield you need to do with all the recruitment there, I think we need 2 midfielders personally, could be more. I think if you're going to do all that, maybe you go for a cheaper winger, because you've still got Saka, Waneri, Trossard, Martinelli, and maybe a Coman or a Sane on a free transfer makes sense. The other thing I've got to wonder is, have Arsenal maybe just picked up the phone and tried to understand the terms of the deal? That is something Andrea Berta's done with Luis Suarez and David Villa over the years. I guess that makes a little bit of sense, but I'm just not sure that Arsenal are sort of trying to pursue a Sane and a Coman. Sane has actually somewhat rediscovered some form for Bayern Munich and is still playing somewhat as a regular for the national team. Kingsley Coman is a different situation. Even last summer we were talking about him. It wasn't one I was particularly convinced on. His contract expires... Oh, this is interesting. So I've actually got this wrong. His contract expires June 30th, 2027. So he'd have 2 years left, but ultimately there is a understanding he'll go. So apologies, everyone. Earlier in the video, I was saying that it's a case of offering him a new contract. I've got that completely wrong. I'm glad I checked. He actually... It's a case of there'd be a fee. So even that... Oh, I don't like it, people. I don't like it. I mean, it's probably not an extraordinary fee. And what I was saying about picking up a cheaper player, you know, a cheaper option on the wing, maybe a loan, is probably, you know, I think all those points kind of still... They still make sense. But, again, any kind of fee. It's worth knowing he's 28 years old. I was about to say 38. Making a mess of this, aren't I? He's 28 years old. So... you know, it's not like he's kind of in his 30s, and this is a player who's really regressing, because of kind of just simply how long he's been in the game. But I do have doubts because of all these injuries and the fact that it's not really happening for him at Bayern Munich. I mean, should we look at how many games he's actually played? Let's go all seasons. I told you the Goonerverse 2 would be very kind of rough and ready and just instant reaction. I'm even finding stuff out as I'm recording. 23 Bundesliga games this season. So actually, it's not little. It's more than the 17 in total he mustered last year. Season before that, 24. Season before that, 21. Let's just have a look at this current campaign, see how many of them he's actually starting. I'd love to know. He's started 11 of those 23. So he's not a regular for Bayern whatsoever. I don't love it. I don't love it at all. But let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if there's actually a player in there and I'm missing opportunity. I'd rather we went and did the Tell deal. I'd rather we went and got Sane. I think he's kind of third in the list of wingers I want from Bayern Munich alone. So I'm not really keen on this deal. Other bits of news to tell you about. And by the way, this also does feel a little, I should just say this, Florian Plettenberg getting the kind of news there. It does feel to me like it's a little bit of a case of maybe agent talk, getting stuff out there to kind of maybe push ahead with whatever move might be coming for him. So, yeah, I'm just not convinced about the story whatsoever, but of course we'll always tell you about it. Now, according to AS in Spain, Mikel Merino will play midfield versus Real Madrid if Partey isn't fit. That we could all have guessed that, especially as Jorginho has been ruled out. Now, this exclusive from John Cross at the Mirror, telling us that Jorginho has been ruled out for the game. Of course, he went off injured, having started the game against Brentford on the weekend. But there is better news for Arsenal on Thomas Partey. He says, and then this was aggregated by Doc, there is a hope that Partey will be fit. We need Partey to be fit because I think that midfield with Rice and Erdegaard really got the better of Madrid. I think it's the perfect balance of technical quality and power as well. So I really hope Partey is fit for this game. If he's not fit, and now we know Jorginho's ruled out, I think we do need to bring Merino back. And look, if you watch Forever Arsenal, you'll go, James, hold on. You said you'd rather not, so we could get, Merino up front, and then you'd get someone else in midfield. Jorginho being out as well as Partey, I think we simply have to bring Merino back, and Trossard's going to lead the line. Maybe it gives us something on the counter-attack. But yeah, it is, I mean, when you just love to somewhat have a squad and something that resembles our first team going out against Real Madrid. I mean, we've done so well up to this point. We obviously have a 3-0 lead we're taking there. But it's so frustrating that there's just kind of every week there's just another bit of news, another injury, another something. Then do you know what's crazy? I remember when Gabriel got injured, I was so gutted he wasn't playing Real Madrid. But I was thinking, look, maybe it's a couple of weeks out and he'll be back for the semi-finals if we were to make it. But I never really kind of had much hope in that because I thought, what are the chances we get past Real Madrid? It's now looking good like we would. And so that news that Gabriel's out, had surgery and is out for months and months, that's even worse news than it was when it kind of first came out. So, yeah, injuries continue to plague Arsenal's season, but Madrid are having it all their own way because we know that Ferland Mendy is out. This is according to Marca. He couldn't recover in time to face Arsenal. So it looks like Garcia will probably start at left back. I'll be amazed if they put Alaba up against Saka again, especially when they need a goal, but maybe they will. Those are your updates, people. Kingsley Coman to Arsenal. Contact's been made. Not feeling this one. A, in terms of a report, but B, in terms of an actual transfer. Jorginho out, Mendy out. Partey could be fit, though, according to John Cross at the Mirror. All right, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Catch you in a bit.